It's a different Liverpool.
Yeah.
Different lineup. They go away to Eintracht Frankfurt. They win 5-1. I think I know what you're going to say here. Does this mean everything is well and he's found the magic formula?
That would be very simple to say that, Gab, as you know, and I think you agree with me. The big call, obviously, is that he dropped Mo Salah and, to a certain extent, or lesser degree, Alexis McAllister as well. There was no Ryan Gravenberch either, no Kerkers on the left-hand side. But Salah is the big one. We were expecting some changes after the 4th defeat in a row against United at the weekend, and they were there. It was like a 4-2-4, really, although it was a bit more fluid than that with Wirtz, with a bit of freedom, really. But I'm glad he changed something. I think he had to anyway, but I'm glad he changed something. I would bet my house that Salah is not going to start the weekend against Brentford on Saturday, for example.
You've heard it. Jules is betting his house. It's in the northern reaches of London, lovely part of the world.
Very, very true. But the thing is, Slot also did that and went with this super attacking team, also because he knew that it was Frankfurt. And that Frankfurt literally shipped goals like anything else.
We have to remind ourselves this. And this is why, like, in our talking points that we did last night, I said, you learn very little from this game. Because you have to consider who the opponent is. And the moment, it's not that Eintracht Frankfurt are a bad team, they have some big players, but the moment that they're in. This is a team, Eintracht Frankfurt, that has conceded 23 goals in the last 6 games.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, that means that they are conceding nearly 4 goals per match.
Over 6 games. So that's a big, it's not just over 2. It's over 6 games, it's very consistent.
Yeah, and it's not like they played Bayern Munich every week. And so for that, and on top of that, they have a coach, Dino Topmuller, who has done really well. And supposedly, as I learned last night, he's named for Dino Zoff, 1982 World Cup hero. So he's close to my heart. However, he revolutionized his team ahead of Liverpool as well. His 2 top scorers, Burkhardt and Uzun supposedly, the next big thing. Everybody, so much hype. He drops them. He made other changes. I think he changed the goalkeeper. He changed Kawa Santos, Musa back 3. And what happens is Liverpool go out and they play against a team that have very little chemistry, very little unity. Liverpool themselves changing. Yeah. So I don't know that Slot wants to draw too many conclusions. I think he can draw some conclusions.
Yeah.
This 4-4-2 really, really intrigues me.
Yeah.
Because you know my thoughts on Florian Wirtz. We have a bet going. It's not resolved yet, but Florian Wirtz on the right, I like that much more. I might even prefer Florian Wirtz on the left, but obviously that area is more clogged. Florian Wirtz on the right in a 4-4-2, free to come inside, but dropping into the right in possession. It's a lot easier to defend when you've got the touchline is like helping you and stuff like that. He worked hard. The 2 up front, Isak and Ekitike. We could easily see Salah being one of the 2 up front, right? If you've got 2 up front, he effectively played that way at times, right?
Yeah, maybe.
So it's not like Salah's done in this team at all.
Yeah.
So you have that option midfield. When everybody's fit, maybe it's McAllister and Gravenberch. Maybe it's whatever. You got 4 guys who can fill those 2 roles. You can take a striker off, add another guy in if you want to in certain situations. That's all balanced. You do have a full-back issue, potentially, because if Wirtz plays on the right, then you want to have Frimpong in there, which he did for the first 90 minutes. In other words, there is a certain balance and a certain logic that 4-4-2 can bring.
Yeah, although I thought the best half was the second half when it was not the 4-4-2 anymore. So Isak coming off at halftime because of a small groin injury, Chiesa coming on, then Wirtz going back to the 10 and in a more kind of slot type of team. I thought they were better in that second half. The first half, there's obviously the first goal for Ekitike where there's no rest defense for Frankfurt who are attacking. It's bonkers at that level. Then it's 2 set pieces. Yeah. So I think it's good that he has another option. I think he will go back to the 4-2-3-1 on Saturday at Brentford.
We're going to break this down further on the Gab and Juls podcast. As you said, 2 set pieces. I don't know how much I'm going to learn against a team that defends like this. All right, Jules, let's break this down further. Let's get slightly forensic with a 4-4-2 as an option. And you've come out and you said very clearly you will give up your house.
Yeah.
No doubt you've discussed it with your family.
Yes, absolutely.
If Salah does not start. So the first person who wants to claim Jules's house, please contact us on email.
Yes.
But you have to give something in return. right? For Jules' house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe
shelter.
If Salah doesn't start, no, how about this? If Salah doesn't start, then you make a donation to a charity of Jules' choice.
Yeah. Perfect.
I think that's only fair. And then you get Jules' house.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
He does.
I agree. It's a great house.
Would it be hilarious if Arne Slot is watching this and says, like, I could use some property in North London? Okay. The 4-4-2, the advantage, let's talk about just advantages, disadvantages. Then we want to get into ESAC, where that was up and down. So the advantage of 4-4-2 is that, for me, you've got two people up front who can provide that first line of defense. Whereas when it's Wirtz plus a striker, Wirtz struggles to do that. It's not, at least to me, he does not have the physicality to defend in that role, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you put him in the hole. And so then all of a sudden, the two in front of the back four are under attack. And if one of the two is Szoboszlai as well, I think you've got more issues there. Putting Wirtz wise, you have that balance on that side. On the left side, Gakpo's job doesn't necessarily change very much. And then obviously behind Gakpo, then you have an issue with, obviously we had Roberts in there.
Yeah.
Much more defensive, much more experienced than Kirkus. Just plays the game in a different way. The other positive to me about this is that what Liverpool have been lacking this year that was there last year. And look, I know people destroy Trent every time he was out of position or whatever, but you have a supreme passer joining you in midfield, the guy who passes the ball perceptively, long and short, better than almost anybody else on the team. Better than McAllister, better than Gravenberch, better than Curtis Jones, better than Wirtz, I don't know, but certainly from deeper with traffic around him, better than Wirtz, right? Or as good as Wirtz. Now you don't have that because both fullbacks, or both new fullbacks, are people who carry the ball. In this way, you can get Wirtz from the right, and you have that bonus. What are the downsides to 4-4-2? What could make him think, you know what, this isn't right? What would the weak spots be?
I think it's a 4-4 really, because he's so attacking, and we said even the two,
because they're attacking players, right?
Yeah, but even the two when it's Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones may be slightly less.
So sorry if I jump in here. If it can't just be down to the players, because it's the same players, you're just putting them in different positions.
In which way?
Well, if you play 4-2-3-1, you have two central midfielders plus Wirtz, and then you have a striker and two wingers. In this way, Wirtz is one of the wingers, and one of the strikers is up front, and then the right winger is up front, right? So it's the same player. You don't necessarily need to change the players to play. To say 4-4-2 or 4-2-4, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's the same. So it's not down to the players. It's the scheme that would make it unbalanced potentially, make it too attacking, right?
Well, no more. But it's more the players. If you play with two wide, if you put, for example, Szoboszlai on the right instead of Wirtz, it's less attacking than Wirtz. If you put Jones on the left, for example, it depends who your four are in that line of the four midfielders. In this case, they were all forwards really. So I think in the Premier League, I think this is a very difficult.
So Gakpo, McAllister, Gravenberch plus Wirtz in the Premier League plus two strikers would be difficult to carry.
Yeah, I think that's difficult. I think it's difficult. I think you run the risk of being have one player less in that midfield area, which is difficult already. This is part of the problem. This has been part of the problem for Liverpool this season, even when they played in the 4-2-3-1. So even when Wirtz was helping whoever was the double pivot, and I think in a team of in a slot team, this is where you need to be very strong in that control in that midfield. I'm not sure a 4-2-4 gives you that control really. So I don't know. I like this a lot. I like a 4-2-4 a lot. I'm not sure this is made for the Premier League.
Slot said something afterwards which struck me. He said he was happy that his team were able to press in this game. In previous games, and I stress they were coming from 4 consecutive defeats, they couldn't do that because the opposition played the ball in the air all the time. And obviously you can't press when the ball's in the air. You can read that two ways. You can read that as like, wow, Frankfurt really are mugs. You can
We're
read
super naive, that's for sure. Yeah.
You can read it as actually this setup 4-2-4 is it's obviously easier to press in this formation than it is in the 4-2-3-1. You could also read it in a negative way, frankly, Arne, because if you need to press to win the ball back and to get your energy and to get your pep, and the other team chooses not to press, you need to find another way to beat them. You can't say, oh, well, they didn't play into our hands, right? By trying to play out the back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Frankfurt goal, really, when Wirtz loses the ball in the last third of the pitch for Frankfurt, Liverpool tried to press, or counter-press in this case, and they get absolutely done. And I think in 5 passes, Frankfurt scored the goal. So the press was not that, efficient. And also, you can play 4-2-3-1 with the ball and still press in a 4-4-2 without the ball. That's what a lot of teams do. With Wirtz can be at the level of Ekitike or Isak and still press. So I'm not sure it changes much in terms of the pressing, but certainly, again, I think this worked. I said on French radio on Monday night, Frankfurt were the best team that Liverpool could face to finish their losing streak and to go again, really, because you knew exactly what Frankfurt would do. You knew how poor they were defensively. I mean, the fact that they just are so open the way they play, that this was just perfect for Liverpool. If there's one game where you can play the 4-2-4, it's against a team like that. The thing is, there's not many teams like that in the Premier League. And defensively, maybe the Premier League is not as strong this season. A lot of teams concede goals. There's not many clean sheets, that kind of stuff. I get it. But still, this was the perfect game for that. It was the perfect game where you could drop Salah and don't really see much difference for your team. Not that Wirtz was so much better than Salah on that right-hand side in the first half, really. But that was just perfect. And to go back to your point, I'm not sure how much even you learn about your 4-2-4 that you didn't know before just on that game. I think it was perfect from slot. Tactical plan worked great. I think you go again and you look at Brentford and it will be a complete different story against Brentford on Saturday, away from home again. And that's why I'm not sure you can play that. But you might use the 4-2-4 again in other games, sure.
But not against Brentford.
On Saturday, I would doubt it.
All right, let's talk strikers, because for somebody who I believe is the most expensive striker in the history of the Premier League and one of the most expensive ever, Alexander Isak, I sort of feel he kind of went under the radar, right? We said, okay, preparation was messed up because of the strike and whatever. Okay, now we're taping the show on October 23rd. This was his second start, I believe, for Liverpool. Maybe third. I don't know, but
no more than
I'm still not seeing him. I thought they looked a lot better. I thought Kitike certainly looked a lot better than he did. He comes off at halftime for Chiesa, who we disagree. I mean, it was hard to tell because Frankfurt were all over the place. It's hard to tell where Chiesa was playing and where Wirtz was playing. I actually thought Chiesa, and Chiesa himself thought afterwards that he was playing centrally a lot more than he was used to. But whatever the case may be, when does Isak show up?
I don't know, because we mentioned, I think on Monday was the show before, that you wanted him involved in the game. And now he's getting those chances. There's the big one against United. Through on goal that Lamen saves. There's the 2 he has in the first 10 minutes of the game against Frankfurt on Wednesday night. The second one may be a little bit more difficult, but the first one really, he has to be a bit sharper and finish it. So it's not like if before he doesn't have the chances and you say, okay, it's normal, he's adapting, they're adapting to him and try to finding him. Now they find him and he still can't score.
Why does he take him off? Was it?
It's a groin injury at halftime.
That's the story. So
so he's doubtful for the weekends. He might not play.
Oh, that means there's a greater chance of Salah starting then at the weekend.
Definitely.
Careful there. I don't know if you factor that into you're putting your house
so
up.
I said Salah will start at the weekend. I didn't say Salah would not start. I said Salah will start. I don't think he will be on the bench again at the weekend.
Oh, Salah will start.
Will start.
Okay. Sorry, I totally misunderstood before.
No, Salah will start. But I bet my house that he will start. So if he doesn't start, then you still get my house. But because
Arne, here's a big chance for you.
Stay for you again. Be bold. I mean, you are already, but be bold.
All right. If Salah start, okay. We've seen Salah played in a front two many, many years ago at Roma. I mean, that was a 3-5-2, so it's a little bit different, but probably not entirely different when you consider if you have, and I'm purely projecting now. And I'm not suggesting Arne Slot should go and watch old Roma videos, but that 3-5-2, you obviously had wing backs. If Frimpong and Kirkes play, they are essentially wing backs. There isn't that much difference between two center backs and a guy like Gravenberch who does what used to call the Salida La Volpana or whatever the hell it is, the Busquets thing where he slots into the thing. It's almost kind of a 3-5-2, 3-4-1-2 if you want. If he's not going to be able to work defensively the way he did before, or if that's not good use of Salah's time at age 34, why not Salah in the front two?
Maybe
independently of where Wirtz goes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because you could play 4-3-1-2 or whatever, however you want to do it.
I think it's just because he's so low on confidence, and it's clearly, as we saw again against United last weekend, lost a lot of confidence and momentum. To put him in another position, in another system where I know he played there, but he's not used to it really.
He hasn't done it in 10 years, and he was a lot younger when he played there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure if that would help him or not really. I think maybe the best for him to get back to close to his best form or on the way to his best form, scoring again, just put him in the best environments and situations and conditions in his favorite position, as close to the goal as possible, for him to shine. The thing if Isak is not there, Ekitike is great. I think he's so good, so talented. But it's a big chaos in the sense that it's like there's not much structure in a way to his game. It's like, give me the ball. And then there's just something, he wants to make things happen all the time. And he's got that kind of guy, which a front two with him is not easy. And we saw in that first half, I don't think there's much between Isak and Ekitike. I try to look, I find some data, but not all of it. So I don't want to go too far on this. But when you have a front two, ideally you would want that front two to combine and that front two to play off each other. And sometimes one comes deeper, the other one drop, all that kind of stuff. And I didn't really see much of that there in that game.
It's interesting though, but you say that because Ekitike kind of not made his name because everybody knew who he was at 18, but then went off the boil and then came back and fulfilled his potential, or started to fulfill his potential, got people excited. Playing in a front two with an Egyptian striker alongside him. That would be Omar Marmoush.
Yeah.
Salah's also Egyptian. Correlation, causality. It's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, we can try. It's just different profile. But it's
a word on Eintracht to wrap this. I as somebody who lived in Frankfurt as a kid, it's weird. I feel like they've gone through this tremendous period where they've been great, they've been exciting. The stadium's fantastic. I've had the privilege of going there, and then I see this season, and I can't wrap my head around what Dino Topmuller is doing and what is so different. Because you can be open and attacking.
Yeah.
And you were telling me before, he seemed deluded speaking post game on German television.
Yeah, with Sami Khedira. I mean, if I was a Frankfurt director, CEO, whatever they have, sporting director, Topmuller would be gone now.
Really?
You can't have it. You can't concede 23 goals in 6 games. I mean, in the Champions League, they just lost back-to-back 5-1. It's embarrassing.
Oh.
They were so embarrassing yesterday. Forget about the score and the result. Just the performance yesterday, it looked like an under-17 team that is just learning to play with each other. Not even a good under-17 team. If Oliver Glasner, obviously, who made Frankfurt great, who won the Europa League with them, I don't know if he was watching that game or not, but he would have. You would think that any kind of manager with a link to this club, especially, would look at that and think like, this is just not possible.
No. There's a parallel universe where Mark Gay moves to Liverpool. Sorry to go back to Mark Gay. And Oliver Glasner, even though he walked it back and says he never said it, does resign, goes and replaces Dino Topmuller at Eintracht, and they go and they win the Champions League.
Oh my God, imagine that.
All right, enough Liverpool. How about some quick hits instead?
Let's go, Gab.
Jude Bellingham strikes to give Real Madrid a 1-0 win over Juventus. Jules, how are they looking in advance of the Clasico? And Did Igor Tudor's side show you anything other than the ability to defend and be gritty?
Well, let's start with Real Madrid, and I guess the fact that their best player was probably Thibaut Courtois, with a couple of amazing, probably 3 really outstanding saves. One, especially on the one-on-one with Vlahovic, and 0-0. That saved them. He saved them again. I think tells you a bit of the story. It was not all Courtois, because they still created enough chances. They could have scored another goal.
2.81 XG.
2.81 XG. The goal is a little bit lucky because Vinny hits the post and the rebound, and Bellingham scores the rebound. But you see also when Mbappe is maybe not on the greatest of nights.
Yeah, you say that.
Yeah, the couple of
Mbappe El Cambiaso, the ankle breaker. This is straight from this is like Tim Hardaway or something. I'm really getting myself now.
But in front of goal, he was not clinical enough. And you know what? I didn't mind what I saw from Juve, considering how average they've been, really, and they haven't won since, September or something. There were times where I thought they were really good for the money, not just defending, but played well in transition. It was interesting.
But he changed the team to defend by putting Koopmeiners deeper and McKennie where he was.
No, for sure.
He's not going to do this against an average team, right? So then you still have the question, what is this team's identity going to be? Goulet, Bellingham, at some point, Valverde will have to stop playing right back because the right backs will return. This midfield, 4 into 3. Can you carry? We don't think Goulet and Bellingham will play together.
For me, this was too open. You can't play like this in the Clasico on Sunday. I would be very surprised if he put again the 3 midfields with Chouameni, Bellingham, and Goulet in the Clasico. It was part of our talking points on the website if you want to have a read of what we make of it and what we think of it. But it worked. I didn't think that worked that well with the ball yesterday on Wednesday night. And again, I thought they were far too open.
It's a lot of individuals.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like.
Exactly. And if you look at Bellingham's defensive numbers on the night, they're terrible for a third midfielder. So I
think the best line about it is that this does not look like a team that's coached by Xabi Alonso.
Yeah, probably, Arsenal beat up Atletico Madrid 4-0 on Tuesday to remake perfect 3 wins from 3. Gab, some haters moan that it was all set pieces and counter-attacking. Do you agree?
No, come on. It's football. When you don't have Odegaard and you play against a team that comes in your house and defended well, and I thought Atletico Madrid defended really well in the first half. They picked their spots. They hit the woodwork. You have to find another way to win. And sorry, it's not just Odegaard. Eze is just a different player, and to do the Odegaard stuff, he's not on Odegaard's level. I think it's also we don't have normal Bukayo Saka yet. He's whether he's still recovering or whatever. He can't put a Superman cape on every game. So you get set pieces, you get counterattacks, but celebrate the fact that Martinelli's really fast in space and he's finishing. Celebrate the fact that I understand why Lewis Skelly doesn't start in the Premier League, but I can also understand Lewis Skelly can do stuff like this, he did in setting up the first goal. I don't get the Gyökeres hype still. Yes, he fills space and runs around and gets 2 goals in the end. I think were they both deflected or one was deflected? The other one was
one was deflected.
Whatever.
Not the second one,
but it's working, and that's his point. And then let's judge him when Odegaard is back. Do not adjust your podcast device. This is not a hoax. Paris Saint-Germain put 7 past Bayer Leverkusen away in a wild, wild game.
Yeah, this was crazy. I mean, we said before that because Bayer Leverkusen play so open, so attacking football, and PSG are PSG, we knew there would be a lot of goals. We probably didn't think there would be 2 red cards within the first half, 2 penalties as well, 9 goals in total. The pick of the bunch, really, probably the Alex Garcia incredible strike, although you can make a case for Kvaratskhelia hitting the 2 posts as well. It was crazy. But if you give PSG this kind of space and time, they're going to punish you.
Erik ten Hag is gone. I don't think Leverkusen meant to be this open, but obviously when you go a man down, when you've got 10v10, the difference in individual quality becomes even greater because it's harder to plug the spots. Leverkusen really paid a price for it. Zabarni, let's hope this was a one-off brain fart.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Horrendous.
Yeah, but Dembele coming back, the Ballon d'Or winner, should remind you all, scoring 3 minutes into his return. Inter also perfect, Gab. 4 goals away at Union Saint-Gilloise. Were you impressed?
They got the job done. I was happy Esposito scored. Bonny did well. they're showing much more versatility. I think this year they're ready to push the defense higher up the pitch, even more so than they did with Inzaghi. But you got to judge the opposition. I mean, Inter have played Slavia Prague, Union Saint-Gilloise, and Ajax. Ajax were horrendous, and we'll get to them. This is why those people who look at a table and be like, oh, look, all the big teams are 9 points. Yeah. Inter's 9 points are not like Bayern's 9 points or Paris Saint-Germain's 9 points. Simple as that. Not yet. Jules, we're not done. We have more quick hits.
Yes.
Fermin Lopez bags a hat-trick as Barcelona beat up Olympiacos 6-1, which no doubt upsets Mr. Marinakis.
Yes.
But Jules, how angry must Mr. Marinakis be at that second yellow, which left his team down to 10 men just as they were getting back into it?
Yeah, and to be fair, Olympiacos were good. Even in that first half, 11v11, even before the Fermin goal that came, the first one that came early for Barcelona, even after that, even when they came back to 2-1 at the start of the second half, and then that's a really harsh second yellow for...
Can we call it cheating? Can we call Marcasador a cheat?
He made the most... Yeah, he makes a mid.
Which is cheating, yeah?
Well,
okay.
Yeah, it's not nice.
No, listen, I have to be consistent. If I'm going to slam Santi Jimenez, I got to slam
exactly.
this guy
very
too.
Similar. You're right. Very similar. Then obviously 11v10, Barca, Rashford hat-trick, Lamine Yamal, bit of a soft
2 goals,
penalty,
Rashford.
I thought. Fermin 3 goals, Rashford 2 goals, Lamine as well. Of course, they're going to score goals. It's just, again, we saw against an Olympiacos team that is a decent team, but nothing special either, how quickly or easily this Barca defense could get done.
Yeah. On the positives, we saw Droll start, who I thought did
decent.
better than Tony at the weekend. Marcus Rashford gets his goals. Just wonder maybe could Rashford be the answer at center forward more so than with Lewandowski and Torres out?
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah.
The vibe was definitely that, I think, of a team looking ahead to the weekend in the Clasico.
Bayern Munich destroyed Bruges 4-0 and also stay perfect. And not just in the Champions League, Gab, it's 12 wins in 12 games in all competitions.
Yeah. Who needs Jamal Musiala? Who?
Exactly.
Jamal who?
Exactly.
It's kind of wild when you think about it. Where they were this summer, all like we wanted to sign Florian Wirtz, and no, Voltemade is so stupid for going over there. He's too expensive. But we could have become. No, bro, you don't need these guys. And he signed Nico Jackson on the last day of the transfer window, and it sounds like they picked up somebody else's trash, and they're 12 for 12, and they're playing well. And even when they had some issues in the Clasico in the second half, not going to deny that. But they didn't concede a single shot in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean. And Leonard Carl, nice to see a homegrown guy. Tremendous goal.
17 years old. Amazing.
I enjoyed watching Olise in the hole as well. Now, look, you don't need Musiala because sometimes it's Olise, sometimes it's Gnabry, sometimes it's that Harry Kane guy who's pretty good and scored again. They're flying. It makes no sense to me, but they are flying. They're really good.
Yeah, very good.
Erling Haaland is held to just 1 goal, but Manchester City went away to Villarreal 2-0. Jules, what did Pep learn?
That the team that's third in La Liga is not very good, even at home. That's Villarreal. I'm not sure. Maybe they showed too much respect. Or I don't like this expression because I'm not really sure what it means. But the first half was
It means they were too scared and too defensive.
Really? It was far too easy for City in that first half. They went 2-0 up. And then after that, as we've seen, we saw them doing that earlier in the season as well, including at Monaco, where they take a little bit of the gas, and Villarreal were a little bit better in the second half. But really, there was nothing for City to panic of. Haaland scored 24th goal of the season. Sorry, already for club and country. It's just ridiculous.
12 straight games.
Yeah, he scored 8 of City's last 9 goals. Bernardo is the other one that scored in this game.
Bernardo scored a header too, which was nice for the little man. This is not the way to play against Manchester City. Unless you're a team that specializes and plays super defensive all the time, don't change. Go and attack City's back four. That's the way to play.
Napoli get absolutely bossed away by PSV Eindhoven, losing 6-2. Gab, Antonio Conte is furious and says that some players are selfish and egotistical.
Yeah, so first of all, Peter Bosch, we've given you a hard time. Credit where credit's due. 6 goals is big. Now, 2 of those were own goals.
Yes.
A couple were sort of hit and hopes, great goals.
Yes, great shots.
A couple was a stupid counterattack where the Napoli players run into each other. But that said, it's a big, big win.
Yeah.
And you came from behind. So much respect, Peter Bosch. That said, Conte, look, You're with the players all the time. You must know what buttons to push. You said, well, we had to integrate 9 new players this summer.
Yeah.
That's not easy. Upsets the chemistry. Sure. Liverpool also integrated many new players. I think 7 in the summer. That's also might be some of the hiccups. Now that said, when you say some players are selfish and egotistical, when you say the newcomers need to shut up and be humble. Kevin De Bruyne is a newcomer, and then you don't name names. And then people are going to think that, maybe you're thinking De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Noah Lang does not helping himself, coming out and saying, well, Conte's only spoken to me once, and I don't get to play. Conte came out and said, what do you expect Conte to say? Lang's going to play when I say Lang plays. Again, let's hope he gets this right. I think creating this idea where you're saying you're letting the fans down, you're disrespecting the fans, you got to know what you're doing. Does he know, or is this another second season Conte implosion?
Yeah.
Time will tell. Harvey Barnes bags 2 and Newcastle beat Benfica 3-0. Jules, Jose Mourinho, not happy.
No, not happy at all. Second defeat in a row for him in the Champions League. 3-3 now for Benfica. They've got 0 points. Some of the defending. They didn't start too badly. Looking back, you could have scored. It looked really threatening on that right-hand side, against Bayern. And after that, their defending, let them down massively, especially on Barnes.
It was the second one.
The second goal,
Where the center backs are vertical.
And Pope just, it's a long,
it's long throw.
Long throw with his arm, and it's just ridiculous defending, really. So, well done for Newcastle. It's a big win for them. They needed it. Nice 6 points out of 9. For Mourinho, there's a lot of work to do. I'm still not sure, really, that he has changed that much compared to Bruno Lage.
No. And shout out to Anthony Gordon. Another example of a guy I don't like, and I've been critical of before. I don't like him purely because of the way he looks, but he's been really good, and I think he scored in every Champions League game for Newcastle.
Yeah, exactly. He's got 4 goals already. Only Mbappe and Ken, I think, have more. Enzo Maresca makes 10 changes, and Chelsea beat Ajax 5-1. But Gab, this game was over early, really.
Yes, 50 minutes in, Kenneth Taylor, you can't do that. Gets himself sent off. Enzo Maresca really opening the floodgates in this. That 10 changes is a little bit deceptive, but we saw your friend Jorgensen come back in for Sanchez.
Played 90 minutes.
Wesley Fofana coming back from injury. Will he ever be a regular on this team? I have no idea, but it's good to see him back. Enzo Fernandez also back in the lineup. Moises Caicedo at right back. Maresca did the right thing at halftime. 3 changes. You're 3-1 up at that stage. The other team's 10 men. Game is over. Got to see Reggie Walsh and people like that in the second half.
Marc Guiu scoring. You like
Marc
that?
Guiu scoring. Who would have thunk that? Ajax have serious problems, and I don't know. Maybe Farioli, despite the implosion of the last season, maybe that was a bit of a miracle. Farioli maybe was not the problem. Witness how well Porto are doing.
Yeah.
Tottenham Hotspur travel to Monaco, and it finishes 0-0. Jules, Thomas Frank needs to fix things quick. They're being rescued by kind Saint Vic.
Not bad. He did well. Vicario was an incredible performance. 3 massive saves.
Your Don Hutchinson thinks he's not good.
Well, he was very good on this. I mean, to be fair, they've been good defensively, as in terms of not conceding too many goals. I thought they were so bad in this game because this is a Monaco team with a new manager who only drew 1-1 at Angers on Saturday, and Spurs go to the very hostile, as we know, Stade Louis II.
Very intimidating.
Very intimidating in the Glen Hoddle derby. And then there's not much really from Spurs with the ball or without the ball. Defensively, they were all over the place. Monaco really should have scored at least 2 goals. They should have won that game. It's a bit of a miracle, 1 point like they had at Bodo Glimt 3 weeks ago for Spurs. And of course, it's a decent start of the campaign. 5 points, unbeaten, 1 win, 2 draws. But actually, those 2 draws were poor from them, really poor.
Is it wrong for me to have a man crush on Akliouche?
No. Paris born and bred Akliouche, I mean, yeah.
He's a player and a half.
Yeah,
he's a player. You can keep your Golovin, you can keep all this stuff. I'm going to take Akliouche.
I know. Enjoy him while he lasts with Monaco shot because he won't be there for too long. Gab, your boy, Victor Osimhen, scored 2 and wins the ball back for the 3rd as Galatasaray defeat Bodo Glimt 3-1. You know what this means.
The best is yet to come. He's doing it. You're seeing this. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely absurd. Left foot, right foot, wins the ball back, runs his heart out. There are teams that go and spunk a lot of money on Victor Gyökeres, on Benjamin Sesko, on Matthias Cunha. And then there's this guy. Unbelievable. What can I say? Big win for Galatasaray. They're looking good. La Liga's game on December 20th in Miami between Villarreal and Barcelona won't be taking place. It's been canceled, Jules.
Oh, such a shame.
Now, this is after legal action. Also, this past weekend, we didn't report on it, but there was a 10 to 15 second protest by players, which, funny enough, La Liga's cameras did not show.
No, in most of the game, they didn't show. Such a shame. We were all so excited to go to Miami on December 20th to really mess up the La Liga season, because as we talked about integrity and all the teams having as many home games and away games, nobody on neutral ground, this would have messed everything up. So, funnily enough, La Liga posted their statement or released their statement right in the middle of the Champions League.
While Villarreal were playing.
On Tuesday, while Villarreal were playing as well.
Not happy, Villarreal.
Not happy at all. I think the right decision for me was made, Gabi, of not having that game played in the US.
Yeah, people are going to go on about it. Let's see what happens with Milan Como in Perth. Now, that is a legitimately different situation. Sure. But... yeah, it's usually what relevant sports end up doing, because they spend a lot of money on all their lawsuits, right? But now it seems that's all irrelevant. See what I did there?
Maccabi Tel Aviv said that even if their fans were allowed by local authorities to attend the Europa League game against Aston Villa, we mentioned that on Monday show, next month, they will not accept any ticket allocation anyway.
Yeah, I'm explaining this for people who don't know how it works. When you've got games between, well, even club games, actually, you have a certain amount of tickets that the home team puts aside, and they give to the away team to sell to their own fans. Typically, it'll be between 10 and 15% of the tickets. With Aston Villa, because the local authorities, which said, this is an at-risk game, we don't want the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans here, which greatly upset the British government and the opposition as well, both Labour and Conservative.
Clearly.
This became a big thing, but Maccabi Tel Aviv says, all right, guys, this is not safe for our fans, given they cited, they used the word toxic atmosphere. It's true, a toxic atmosphere has been created. Yeah. I think there are other factors too. There's a fellow you may be familiar with named Tommy Robinson, who is a Luton fan, I'm pretty sure. And has certain views on Islam. He posted a picture of himself wearing a Maccabi Tel Aviv shirt. By the way, this does not mean that Maccabi Tel Aviv fans cannot go to the game. It just means that they won't be getting the tickets via the official allocation. If Tommy Robinson wants to show up in a Maccabi Tel Aviv shirt, then you might get a sense of why they consider this an at-risk game. Igor Pachal's wonder goal gives Marseille the lead away to Sporting, and it was I thought to myself, this is the best goal of the weekend when I saw it, and I said, no, it probably isn't, because there were so many good ones. So many great goals. More than 70 goals in total. Crazy stuff. Anyway. Then Emerson, my boy Emerson Palmieri, Italian international.
Of course.
Emerson Palmieri, no less, gets a second yellow for diving.
Yeah, very stupid.
And they fall 2-1. Needless to say, our boy Roberto De Zerbi is fuming. You down with RDZ?
Yeah, fuming. I mean, really, Emerson, with that kind of experience, should know better. Don't try to con the referee, because that's what he did. Really, he knew exactly there was no contact. On these days with VR and everything, you're not going to get away with it. You're already on a yellow for a stupid handball that you didn't have to do, didn't need to do, or to make, sorry. And now it's the second yellow, you're off, and it's the whole second half with 10 men from Marseille, with De Zerbi, I thought, messed up tactically. And then eventually they come back and beat you, really. And
bit of luck, though, in the second goal, I thought.
Yeah, although it's a penalty anyway, I think it's given, because his arm is just like that, Pavard. But yeah, he deflects it with his arm. Pavard had a shocker. He covers on the first goal too for Sporting. It's just not a good night because that's 1 point. That's 3 points for Marseille now in 3 games, which they look great against Real Madrid, could not get just a point, then destroy Ajax like everybody does. And then in this game, they really needed something before some tough fixtures coming up. But hey,
if we're going to pick on players cheating, whether it's Santi Jimenez again, and obviously earlier in the show we talked about Casado. Yeah. Do we need to talk about Pavard as well, or do we give him a pass because he won the World Cup? No,
that was bad.
That was really bad. Yeah,
that was embarrassing.
Thank you VAR for that one, by the way.
Yeah, definitely. Big bounce back away win for Borussia Dortmund. Gab as they beat Copenhagen away 4-2. Is Niko Kovac better than you thought?
Yes, he is. He is because you're on the back of the Clasico. Super negative first half. Felix and Mitchell, that's the guy who's better than I thought. Certainly in this game.
Yeah.
That was another tremendous goal.
Very good goal. Yeah.
They've lost twice this year. They lost against Bayern. They lost against Real Madrid. Who are two pretty good teams with pretty good players. They're right up there. Can they compete with Bayern domestically? I don't know. I don't think so. Can they do something in the Champions League? I think they need to sort a lot of things out. But as you know, I'm a big Girassi guy.
Yeah.
And it's okay. If you can't go and kind of out attack and be exciting, blah, 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 flying wingers type stuff, you can't do that, then be solid. And I think the goals will still come. You'll get them in transition. You'll get them off set pieces. You get them when you play Copenhagen, who are, despite taking the lead, can't hang on to anything. But I have no issue. It seems to me he's trying to be a bit Arteta-ish without the charisma and without the hair, obviously.
I mean, shout out to Dadason. I mean, great name to start with, but who scored for Copenhagen at 17 and 100 days or something like that. The third youngest ever player to score in the Champions League behind
Lamine Yamal
and Ansu Fati. So well done to Dadason, Icelandic international.
Karabag traveled to San Mamés on the back of 2 wins and scored first, Jules. But then Athletic piled on 3.47 XG and won 3-1. Is this a reality check for the team that, I'd started so well?
Yeah, we thought there could be maybe a bit of a surprise package and all of that. And it was, just Athletic Club were too good, too strong. Even with Nico Williams still not fully fit, you could tell. Without Iñaki Williams too, it was just they should have scored more than the 3 that
I thought when they were gifted the early goal, I thought, okay, you can go and you can manage this. The problem is if you sit off of them, and to be fair, again, talking about great goals, Navarro strike, ridiculous strike that put them 2-1 up. But you keep conceding chance after chance, and eventually you're going to capitulate.
Atalanta, huff and puff, but can't blow down Slavia Prague's castle and finish 0-0.
Yeah, huge game from the Slavia Prague keeper. I feel sorry a little bit for Ivan Juric. When Ivan Juric looks sad, he has that face. He looks extremely sad.
Yes, he does.
He looks like a dog with glasses or something.
Yeah, a little bit, I see.
2.59 expected goals. They had their chances. I think you need to stick with Kristovic. We had a Skamaka sighting as well towards the end. That'll help. I think they'll be okay. I think not getting the 3 points in this game means that you probably won't finish top 8, but they probably weren't going to finish top 8 anyway. Just keep going. They're on the right track.
Yeah.
Pafos go down to 10 men after just 4 minutes away to Kairat Almaty and still hang on for a 0-0 draw.
Yes, they did.
Jules, this is 2 points dropped. How stupid was Jacques Correa?
I'm not sure if it's stupid because I think it's one of those where he's looking at the ball and think that he can control it with his right foot, except that there's Luis Mata there with his head.
Yeah, you can't kick people in the head.
No, but that's not, he doesn't want to do that. He wants to control the ball. The thing is, once he turns and look, it's too late. Sadio Mane did the same on Ederson. He didn't mean to cut his head off again. There was somebody else the other day as well doing it. It's just one of those things where, now that he knows, he doesn't try to get the ball. Luis Mata gets it and he goes.
It's the 4th minute of the game. You cannot put yourself in that situation in a game which
I know, but he doesn't know
is pretty much he's on the pitch. There's 11 opposing players, right?
Yeah, no. He looks at the ball. He's going to control the ball.
But he has no peripheral vision. He's got no idea.
But on this case, he didn't scan or take the information before. He's just controlling the ball. Yeah, but it's not like he went for the player. It's just one of those.
No, I'm not saying he went for the players. But
I know, but it's not.
Referee had no choice to send him off.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. And it's bad because you're right. His team down. They still managed to draw. They had the 2 best chances anyway, to be fair. Even if then Kara hit the post on a lovely, lovely little slalom. But yeah, it's 4 minutes in. The second quickest red card in history in the Champions League. The first one being Shakhtar against Bayern like 10 years ago or so, after even less than the 3 minutes or 2 minutes 45 that we had in this one. Gustavo Hoffmann and Alex Kirkland report that Hendrik is open to a loan move away from Real Madrid in January Gab, this is a no-brainer, surely.
Yeah, considering how much he played in the Club World Cup, considering the fact that he's been an unused sub in La Liga 5 times this season. He has played 0 minutes. Gonzalo Garcia seems to be ahead of him in the sort of reserve center forward role. Yeah. You need to go somewhere else. You need to go somewhere else. Hope that you can score some goals. Maybe you can get back into the Brazil squad for the World Cup. He's still ridiculously young.
Yeah,
I don't think Real Madrid give up on him.
No, definitely.
But it's obvious that this coach, for whatever reason,
Yeah.
doesn't want to give him minutes. And so my view is he should have probably moved before. Moved in the summer. That should have been clear.
Yeah.
And just have a proper preseason, settled, play, and grow. Mr. Marinakis gets his man, Jules. It's the lovable, cuddly S&M man. It's Sean Dyche. He's the new Nottingham Forest boss. Right choice?
I mean, yeah, that we'll have the return of the
gravelly voice.
Gravelly voice.
Some people really like that.
Yeah. Is he the right guy? I mean, he's certainly closer to Nuno and what Nuno built there than Ange would have ever been. On that, yes. It was not who I would have gone for, to be honest here. But, I just think when you took such a risky call with Ange, you go back to being like, okay, let's not mess this one up, because this is it's gonna work in the sense that it's gonna stabilize it. They're gonna be more solid. They're gonna go back a bit. They will have a decent rest of the season. They might just finish 12th, okay, but considering how bad they started, that would do the job.
So a couple of things. First of all, one of the first things he said, he's going to ban hats and snoods from training.
He said that before.
But he's going to allow white socks. I don't know if he wants to. Do you want people to think you're a caricature of yourself? Like, why should you ban snoods if players are whatever? I think the thing about Sean Dyche, look, obviously there's certain things he does extremely well. Did really well to keep Burnley up all those years ago. It did the job at Everton as well. But the point is, you appoint, unless you gave him a deal through the end of the season, and I think he has a longer deal than that, you have to think, am I in serious danger of going down this year? And you could say yes, or should I take a little bit more time and appoint a guy who maybe can make me better and take me to the next level where Forest want to be? I don't believe Sean Dyche is a guy to take Nottingham Forest to the next level, because it's not anything he's ever really done in his career. So,
but can anyone do, though? I'm not sure there's a next level for this team. I'm not sure you can do better than last season.
No. I don't mean do better than last season.
So what's the next level? You say you can't take them to the next level.
Take them to the next level from a relegation threatened team to a team that's stable in mid-table and maybe can qualify for the Europa League. So last year, it was phenomenal. A lot of things went into place. You don't have to be a statistical nerd to understand that they outperformed it. They outperformed all the metrics. There's a lot of variance and stuff happens. But that was also not going to be sustainable. Now, you've got this multi-club project. Yeah. You have Edu. Presumably you're building towards something. With Sean Dyche, generally you build towards survival. You don't go beyond that. So maybe Sean Dyche, if you think, we're going to get relegated, that's going to suck, so let me get Dyche. Otherwise, you're in a position where, you stay up, you finish 13th or 14th or whatever. And then in the summer, you say, okay, if I continue with Dyche, maybe I'll be in the same position next year. But if I want to go further, then I have to look elsewhere. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Good news and bad news for Barcelona, Gabby, and the renovation of the Camp Nou.
So the good news, in addition to some giant Spotify deal, is they got authorization to play in front of 27,000 people at the Camp Nou, so they can go back there. Except they're not going to.
No.
They said that they've let it be known they won't return until Phase 1B, which is when they open up some more stands and the capacity rises to 47,000. Now, we can be cynical and say it's about money. I choose to think it's actually a bit of respect for their season ticket holders, because obviously Montjuic, if they went back when the capacity 27,000, they'd be losing money, but also those would be a bunch of fans who couldn't get to go, right? But buried in the report is the fact that the full opening now has been pushed back to December 2027. That's more than 2 years from now.
Yeah.
It was weird when Rangers appointed Russell Martin. It was weirder still when they were linked to everyone from Steven Gerrard to Kevin Muscat.
Yeah.
Now they've turned to Danny Roll, Jules.
Yeah, and it didn't seem too easy because they were in talks, and then the talks broke down. So then they went back to Kevin Muscat, who seems to be doing a good job as a coach. Didn't really have Kevin Muscat as a potential really good coach, but hey, why not? But then you kind of things got better with Daniel Roll, and they appointed him. We've seen with him, certainly in the championship, a nice philosophy. I think he's got bright ideas. I love his energy and the vibe. Again, going back to Daesh Forest, is it what Rangers need after such a dreadful start of the season? At least they will have they should have a clear philosophy, which Russell Martin, to be fair, had in his way. He's just was never able to implement it with his own players. So let's see what Danny Roll does. I think I like this appointment really, but then I'm not sure if it's going to work.
I'm going to use this as an excuse to tell my Kevin Muscat story.
Oh, yeah, go on.
It's on YouTube somewhere. One of the teams that Kevin Muscat played for, I really don't know. I think it was like a preseason friendly. It might have been. I had no idea who he was playing for because I've forgotten. I blanked it out of my mind. But they were playing friendly against Milan. You and I both know Marcel Desailly. I think you would confirm that it takes a lot for Marcel Desailly to lose his cool.
Yeah.
There's a massive brawl at the end of the game, presumably instigated by Muscat. Desailly absolutely loses it. You know, he and Muscat, they're like literally at each other's throats. And you look at Marcel's face, it just looks like Marcel's like, all right, that's it. This is the end of Kevin Muscat.
Yeah.
All these players pile on. And then there's like a giant, and then it's like everything goes dark because this giant figure goes and blocks out the sun. And it's Zeljko Kalac.
Yeah.
You remember the giant 8-foot goalkeeper who was like Milan's third keeper at the time? He comes in and he pulls Muscat's not a small man. He's a very aggressive man.
Yeah, very aggressive.
Desailly, not a small man either. And he pulls them apart as if they were children. I love that. I don't know what Zeljko Kalac is doing right now.
No, but interesting to know.
I never met the guy, but I always really, really liked him.
Gab, how about some texter time? It's been a while.
It's time! It's time! It's texter time! Yes, so our hero is in trouble
Again.
once again. Or not trouble. He's getting some bad news. There's a commercial court in the UK. He's had a preliminary hearing. Basically, they say that he owes nearly $100 million to something called Iconic Sports. Now, Iconic Sports are one of those funds, one of those iconic funds, maybe. They invested $75 million in Eagle Football Limited, which you remember was, because I don't think there's many teams left in there, his sort of multi-club ownership vehicle back in 2022. And they say that JT promised them that they were going to list on the stock exchange in an initial public offering. And that if they didn't, then he had to buy back their shares plus 11% a year in interest, which if you add it up comes out to $97 million.
Yeah.
Obviously, he hasn't done that. Texter says he's going to appeal. Texter says it's incorrect. Blah, blah, blah. He's still going. He's got court cases, of course, and back in Brazil with Botafogo as well. It's always fun and games in the Texter household.
Always.
Nominees for the African Footballer of the Year out, Jules. Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
Your department. You know who I would give it to, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
So who you got?
So your boy, obviously, Victor Osimhen is in there with Anguissa, with Bouanga, with Guirassy, with Lamlioui, with Mayele, with Ndiaye. Mo Salah, of course, is there, always there. Pape Matassa as well, but the winner. And there can only be one winner. And there can only be one name, and you all know the one that I've left for the end is Achraf Hakimi, who's been not just the best African player last season anywhere, but as we said, potentially in the top 3 or top 5 players all around the world.
I'm less familiar with this Ballon d'Or than I am with the other Ballon d'Or. I always wonder about voters and criteria. If you're going to weigh the 24-25 season really heavily, you could probably make a strong case for Liverpool's Egyptian forward, right? For Mohamed Salah. I mean, there's some people who were saying Mohamed Salah was a candidate for, the France Football Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
A lot of people had him at 3rd or 4th. I don't know where he finished, but a lot of people had him in the top 5. Whereas you could say Achraf Hakimi played for a super team surrounded by a lot of other great players. Without Salah, Liverpool would not have won the title.
Oh, I see what. Yeah,
Without
but
Hakimi,
no, I'm not sure. I mean, Hakimi's numbers. Hakimi's scoring in the Champions League final, semi-final, quarterfinals. It's just an incredible year. I think Hakimi will win it, and I think he'll be well deserved.
if you waited on October and you count the start of this season, no question, it's Hakimi.
Gab, remember that mysterious post from Turkey Al Sheikh claiming that Manchester United were in advanced talks over a sale? Well, according to The Guardian, it's partly true.
Yeah, very partly. So Turki Al-Sheikh, for those who don't know, he is the minister or is the head of general entertainment in Saudi Arabia, which is a really big job. Covers everything from
he's a big
sports,
dog.
the Saudi Pro League, the boxing, the WWE, concerts, that comedy fest that they had.
Yeah.
So he's important, and he's a big Manchester United fan. So if you remember, he sent out this tweet where he's like, congratulations to Manchester United's new owners who are in advanced talks, and people saw this and they're like, hey, Turkey, what the hell are you talking about? It's like, oh, no, I'm speaking as a fan, not in my official capacity. I'm like, do you know something? Well, no, well. According to The Guardian, there's a group of investors. They're not from Saudi, they're from UAE, who are putting together a bid, and they want to rope in all the former
Legends?
Manchester United legends.
Okay.
But this seems very much in its infancy. It's not clear that they've raised any money yet.
Right.
And of course, it's going to take a lot of money to dislodge Ratcliffe and even more to
Yeah.
dislodge the Glazers.
We know that.
Guardian was able to confirm that they spoke to Eric Cantona. I think, frankly, it's because everybody's Cantona's number and he will talk to anybody
That's true as
at
well.
any time, especially if you put some money in front of them.
Of course.
Supposedly, they want to talk to David Beckham and Wayne Rooney.
Okay.
I think those are the ones that would probably move the needle a little bit more.
Yeah.
David Beckham, if he could bring in some friends, he would attract investors.
That's true.
But yeah, it's extremely premature, so do not get too excited. Certainly, I think Turkey jumped the gun on that one a little bit.
Yeah.
Arsenal have apologized to Atletico Madrid, who trained on Monday night at the Emirates Stadium and had to take cold showers as a result because there was no hot water. Jules, I have to say, I am shocked that a tough guy like El Cholo Simeone
That's very
doesn't
true.
take cold showers by choice. Doesn't make his team take cold showers.
Yes, I see what you mean, Gab. You're right. I think I'm not really sure about this story. I think it was nothing to do with Arsenal. Like nobody switched off the hot water.
Yeah, it was a fault.
Yeah, it was a
presumably.
fault. I think that was in the kind of area or something like
And
that.
it's not like they have like a team hotel that's 10 minutes away with
Yes.
nice warm showers.
Exactly.
It's not that big a deal. But
Exactly. And it's not like on the day before a game you do a lot of hard training where you run and sweat a lot either. But it's never nice, I guess.
I think it
And
was
Arsenal were
cold
right.
and rainy, to be fair.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, and it was right for Arsenal to apologize.
But it's back in the day, I sometimes wish
Yeah, it's
that
an
we
old
had.
trick.
I wish we had this podcast. Don't you wish we had this podcast back in like the 1970s and 1980s when every European away trip you had people banging pots and pans.
Absolutely.
They were turning up the heat, turning off the. You know, come
Yeah.
on, it would have been fun.
It would have been fun. It wasn't that long ago that 777 Football had majority stakes in Hertha Berlin, Genoa, Standard Liège, and Vasco da Gama, as well as minority shares in Sevilla and Melbourne Victory. They were even had a deal to buy 94.1% of Everton. And now, according to the FBI, it was a fraud scheme worth $500 million.
Yes, and because lawyers are watching, I'm going to quote here from the FBI's own release, quoting a guy named Christopher Raya. He says, the quote, fabricated lies of success and doctored financial records. Like, you can say, oh, it's a boring financial story, not my club. We need more oversight in football. We need more oversight. It's not just this. I mean, these are allegations of outright fraud.
Yeah.
I don't think there are allegations of outright fraud towards John Textor, rightly so. But clearly, these multi-club ownership things, especially when the funding sometimes is there, sometimes isn't there, is what it is. There's certainly a lot of investigations there. There's the other guy, the guy who was from, I'm blanking on his name, Conway, who had some team up north in England. I'm blanking on that one too. But as well as teams in different countries.
Yeah.
We have to have oversight. We have to have oversight where these teams are coming from. What I would welcome personally, but hey, I'm excessive. I would say you need to have upfront guarantees.
Yeah.
You need to have oversight. I would also frankly make it that I know, like obviously Paris Saint-Germain and City and whatever, but if you're a sovereign wealth fund of a country, you should not be buying a football club. I think.
Yeah.
I obviously grandfather in the ones who've done it already, maybe, but we should have clear demarcation lines about this because this stuff's important.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Costa Rica and Jamaica have joined the USA and Mexico to host the 2031 Women's World Cup. Now, Jules, decision won't be made official until next April, but FIFA says they're the only valid bid, so I think we can kind of know where it's going.
Yeah.
Do you like multi-nation World Cups?
I do, Gavin. I know it's not great maybe for your carbon footprint and all of that, which is absolutely fair. I just like the fact that football can go to Costa Rica and Jamaica as a World Cup host. I just love that.
Those countries will never host a World Cup.
Exactly. You know, and they can't host the whole World Cup, obviously, for obvious reasons. So for them to have a few games, a bit like what we will see as well in the 2030 Men's World Cup, the year previously, which maybe is a little bit too many countries, but still, you get the idea of what I mean. So let's see, 2027 will be in Brazil. We know that, which is pretty cool too. And then I think I would love USA, Mexico, Costa Rica, and Jamaica to have. And we know most of it will be probably in the US. Then the second best will be, or second most, sorry, in Mexico, and then a little bit Costa Rica and Jamaica. But still, I think this should be the spirit. Chelsea have added 33 players to the Champions League squad, Gab. 33, 3-3.
Yeah, now this seems a little bit over the top, obviously.
Yeah. Are you on the squad? You should be.
I'm not, unfortunately, you might find this hard to believe, but I wasn't born after 2004.
Okay.
Because this is the Chelsea B list.
B list,
now,
that's right.
For those who don't know, in the Champions League, you can register a maximum of 25 players. There's certain requirements for homegrown players. In Chelsea's case, I think they can register fewer because obviously we were found they settled their breaches of financial fair play. But you can have an unlimited amount of players on the B list. Players on the B list are club-produced homegrown players who are 21 or younger. And basically Chelsea went out and just registered their entire U18, U17, U16 team. Some familiar names: Thiago Silva's son, Michael Emenalo's son, Landon, who I'm told is like a serious footballer. They just have a ton of bodies there. This doesn't mean anything. Most of these guys, we're never going to see them. We're never going to see them this season for Chelsea. For sure. Chelsea say it's purely administrative. And what you see sometimes when you look at the bench of your favorite team in the Champions League and you see these names that you don't recognize, it's because what normally happens is when clubs need to fill out the bench, they will register these B-list players. They register them game by game. Chelsea said, hey, let's just register everybody in one go and saves us the time to do it game by game.